What's up guys, Americana back here with another video. If you're investing in crypto and not vibe coding indicators to help you, that should all change after watching this video. I've been able to create multiple tools to help keep me on the right side of the market, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to do the same for yourself. If you guys are checking out this video or checking out my channel for the first time, please make sure you subscribe, check out my other videos as well. But let's go ahead and dive right in. And hopefully I can preemptively answer some questions you might have along the way. Just like anything with AI, if you don't have an idea going into it, it's not really going to be able to help you. So step one is I would highly recommend having an idea or an outline of a plan. The indicators that I have found most successful, most usable, they've all been simple and focused on the higher time frames. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you step one in creating this indicator for today. So the first thing I did is go into Claude Code or go into Claude. You guys will need, Claude subscription, ChatGPT subscription. I would recommend Claude because you have access to Claude Code. That's very useful. But anyways, I came and just started with this prompt. I want to vibe code an indicator in Claude Code for a YouTube video. We have to keep it relatively simple, but I still want to show we can make useful tools even if it's simple. That being said, I'm looking at using something like OBV. It's pretty simple, but I wanted to turn it into some sort of oscillator. Would this be possible? Some sort of Z-scored indicator. We can add overbought and oversold areas to it as well. Okay. Now, what did that spit out to me? Yes, absolutely. OBV as a Z-scored indicator is a clean, visual, and a genuinely useful concept. Now, it will tell you in here if it has problems with what you're saying. If you're like, hey, I want to code an EMA cross strategy with 100% win rate. It'll be like, hey, that's probably not possible. We might have to add things on top of it. It'll be like, yo, that's not viable, right? So I just simply told it, I was like, don't worry about coding it in here, but if you can give me a prompt that I can give Claude Code to accomplish this task, that would be more than welcome. Okay, so went ahead and did the prompt in here. So this video is not a Claude Code tutorial, so we're not going to go super in depth here, but you can kind of see the workflow that I did, right? Hey, that exact script from Claude. We went through the plan. It gave me an outline of what it planned to do. I said, that's fine. It wrote the code. Boom. Code is right here. So I copied. I guess we'll do it now because I've since deleted it. So we can go ahead and, if it'll let me, there we go. Copy this code. I'll bring this over here. If you've never added an indicator to TradingView, I'll see if I can show you guys this. You're just going to go over here to the Pine editor and click that button. It's always going to be on the right hand side. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click that. Takes me to an untitled script, create new indicator, however you got to navigate to there. So we'll go ahead and add it. We will add it to chart. We can go ahead and label it something. We'll just call it OBV oscillator. Staying organized in TradingView scripts honestly is pretty terrible. They need to do a better job about this, but just try to stay organized, I guess is what I'm saying. So this is our first attempt right here. I did want to save all of the edits for this video so we could go over that. This is what we have, okay? Remember, keep in mind what I said at the beginning of this video. Okay, we want things that are going to give us not alpha, but give us a better idea where we could be at on the higher time frames. That's always going to work better. Again, we are not, none of us, or I at least myself, don't have a quant background. I understand the concepts, but just slapping together some sort of system that's going to work really well on lower time frames is very difficult. There's a lot of noise to be filtered out through there, but there's a lot of low-hanging fruit on the higher time frames that can still be very useful to the average person, average investor. This indicator, I think, falls into that category. So if we're looking at the weekly time frame on here, and we're simply, let's say, what information can we gather from this? Well, looks like we have a decent idea of we can find when Bitcoin is potentially finding bottoms, capitulation structures, when Bitcoin flips back positive, when it's historically been a good time to be in the market or not be in the market. So that's the weekly time frame. We'll go down to the 3-day here. Similar thing on the 3-day as well, just going to be a little bit quicker when we get those movements. Kind of cool, kind of interesting to see, hey, Z-score was already flipped negative into the peak in 2021. You would have had a little bit of a contrarian insight at that time had you been bearish into the peak, but you also would have outperformed a lot of people avoiding these pullbacks in here. Even if you flipped green or positive or bullish, I guess I would say, I don't know what I'm saying. Even if you flip bullish in here, right, you still had enough time. Once we did flip back bearish, again, you would have avoided all this. This is literally 3 minutes of me coding, or not even coding, just prompting and waiting for the code to spit out to get an indicator like this. Again, focusing on the higher time frames, that's going to be the key, especially for crypto investors. But this same thing, this would work on stocks, this would work on metals, this would work on whatever. All right, we will go ahead and make this full screen here because there's a few things I'm not particularly happy with. I think we could change. One, I don't really like that this is like a histogram or bar that doesn't touch. It's just kind of a little bit ugly to me. We have a lot of stuff that we can change about this visually to maybe give us a better look, better insight. So I'll try to mess around with this real quick. If I can get it somewhere that I think is a little bit prettier or that I like, then we won't go back to Claude Code. But I would like to have an example where we go back to Claude Code and make some edits. I think that could be useful. Alright guys, so with a little bit of editing just in the settings option, we got this a little bit prettier, a little bit closer to where I might want it, but I do have some edits. There's some indicators where you do want things to kind of be sharp and volatile, but I noticed on the daily time frame as well, random large spikes is a little bit ugly, one, and two, for at least this indicator, I think is just not doing all too much for us. This isn't momentum, so seeing a large spike or decline in the Z-score of the OBV, I don't think is going to be super necessary. So we're going to see if we can kind of smooth things out just a little bit. Now you can kind of see an example in here playing out where we had, this lower high on the Z-scored OBV, while at the same time higher high on chart. So that divergence might give us a little bit of insight, might clean up some of the lower time frame price action. Again, on the daily chart here, that's why I say lower time frame, because I did mention we're going to be pretty high time frame here. I don't really like how this shading goes all the way up. I think it just looks cheap and tacky, so we'll fix that. And then we are also going to shade anything over this line and anything under this line a little bit of a different color or darker color, just to signify that it's really hitting those oversold, overbought levels. And I think that will kind of clean things up. I just then went over to Claude and told it what I wanted to see. I actually talked into it using a whisper flow. Just spoke this out, right? So I didn't even have to type this, but not bad at all. I do want to fix a few things. I do think we can smooth out the spikes and peaks just a little bit. Not sure what mathematical calculation we would be able to add. I know there is options, which is why I kind of like open it up to the conversation of doing that. But I don't necessarily need to see how aggressively things moved up or down. I just need to know if it's trending up or down, and I do like the idea of seeing when we hit the extreme points, blah, blah, blah. You guys can kind of just read it. Just asked to clean things up. All right, so Claude now has its feedback for me. It asked me if it would like the prompt. Yes, please, prompt. And I'm going to add this output into Claude Code. So the prompt is ready. We will go ahead and copy and paste. So it looks like Claude Code has its plan together for me for smoothing new inputs, for adding the divergences, for the shading that I want. So I will go ahead and yes and auto accept, change that, and we will go ahead and wait to see what it spits out for us. All right. So this was the output we got. Looks like I do need to go in and make a couple visual changes again, but it does look like we got something a little bit smoother. So we got it a little better, but I do see some issues. One, I don't see our divergence logic showing up. Looks like we should have something happening in there. So we need to look at that. And then we also did not capture the correct shading that I wanted for these points in here. So I'm going to go ahead and circle these points. I'm actually going to just screenshot this and show it to Claude Code. So we're going to skip the Claude prompt for now. I'm going to screenshot it and be like, yo, looks like I didn't have options to edit these. It looks like divergences aren't showing up, and we're just going to see what it can plan and see what fixes that it makes. I think we got this about where we wanted. It's not perfect by any means. We definitely would have some tweaking to do from here. Could make the shading look a little bit better. The divergence stuff, I think I could figure out the bug, but it's not really necessary for the video. I just want to kind of throw it in there if we could. Let's test it out. Let's look. And we can see, is vibe coding an indicator even worth your time? I think it is personally, especially in crypto, especially on the higher time frames. I wanted to mark up everything on this chart to see, is this actually usable? Is this a viable system or strategy, or does this have any insight to us for us? Sorry. So I don't think anything's going to be a viable exactly buy and sell strategy. Like you can just run it on automation and make a bunch of money. It's just a pipe dream, honestly. It's not how these things work. But I do think there is a lot of useful information in here for something that took us 30 minutes to make, maybe an hour if we really wanted to get this dialed in. Quick eyeball test on this thing. Oversold areas typically have marked only the actual bottoms of the market. So I don't necessarily want to use these crosses into this territory as a point to sell. This is actually when you should be buying. But when Z-score enters this shaded area on the overbought side, it does mean that it's going to be more advantageous times in the market for you to be investing in. When it comes to selling, like I said, I don't want to necessarily look at these crosses into the red because those are actually really good times to buy. But we can look at when we start getting this declining Z-score and what that means for the markets. I've actually marked out on here that when we cross back into this normal 0 to 1 sigma range on Z-score, it's probably a good time to start letting go of some coins. Momentum is starting to fade, and you can see over the course of history that has typically worked out quite all right. So we can go through each example and kind of determine, did we find anything useful? If you had bought Bitcoin in here or been bullish in here, great time to be bullish. Cross back down below this one line, what we can go ahead and call it, on Z-score, and it was a good time to not be in the market. If you had waited till Z-score had gotten overbought again, top in the market, you knew you were getting into very strong times, or into the market at a very strong time. Yes, you would have missed out on this little area in here, but just in time for the final push in alt season in 2017. I don't want to get too technical. It's interesting that this caught this because altcoins actually moved flat in this area. If you look at like XRP and Ethereum's chart, they moved flat and then actually didn't start expanding until this point in 2017. So really interesting to see there. If you would have followed it to a T in 2020's bear market, again, you would have sold right here, not bought back until after COVID-19, rode this all the way up to the top, and would have exited in what is that, November of 21. Didn't work out as well this cycle, I'd say. Honestly, your buys would have been really bad. Waiting to buy until all the way up in here. That's kind of some shit that Benjamin Cowan would do. This literally looks like where he bought at. But anyways, you kind of would have gotten out for a small loss. And there, if you followed it exactly, would have gotten out right here for a small gain. Again, it's not something that's going to show perfectly like buy and sell here, buy here, buy here. And really, you should be taking advantage of these oversold areas, buying in here, which if that was the case and you did that this cycle and then simply use these red lines as like, okay, probably a good time to get out of the market, probably a good time to get out of the market, or at least properly set expectations, then you would have done pretty well. So all in all, I do think this indicator was useful. I think there is some small tweaks we can make. And again, this took me less than 30 minutes to do. I had an idea in my head, right? If you guys need ideas, there's plenty of community indicators. All of them or most of them are open source. All right, we'll just go ahead and grab a random one. If I want to go here and go to the Pine script and grab this, be like, yo, I want to make this indicator, change these few things, add this in there. Claude Code can definitely do that. And as long as you have the right expectations of trying to do this on higher time frame stuff, with the idea that these are tools that you can lean on, it's not going to be the end all be all. I think you can find and create some actually really cool tools that end up serving you a lot more than you would think. I personally have made a ton of stuff, and there's all types of stuff that you can make. It's not just going to be something based on Z-score. I have an interesting one in here we can look at real quick. It's called Americana FOMO Index. I basically take the Coinbase premium, I take the volume on Coinbase's stock itself, do some calculations, and get these pretty insightful results, pretty cool results where you can kind of see when retail is entering the market, when retail is FOMOing into things. All right, so if I look here, very retail heavy into there, very retail heavy into here. And once retail's in, market's probably going to drop out or even dump. So that was a really fun one to make. That was something that I didn't think would have been super possible if it wasn't for AI. And that's kind of my point, right? You can make a lot of cool stuff. You just have to get out there and try it. You'll learn a lot of stuff along the way. And I highly, highly, highly recommend any crypto investor to be doing this stuff. Helps you think about the market. It's fun. It gives you good tools. And yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Let me know if you guys have any questions at all. Also, one more thing, make sure you sign up for my free newsletter. The link for that will be in the description.